भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Mundaka Upanishad. We have studied in great detail during the last discourse the first verse, the first shloka of the second chapter of second Mundaka. And I made it abundantly clear that from here, that instruction of how to go about it, the sadhana of a sadhaka to achieve siddhi, has been instructed in the first phase. Thereby, Maharishi Angirasha has told her that this sadhana does not compare well with worldly efforts. Why? Because in worldly efforts of achievement, we go outwards. Oh, this is available in Bunnings. I have to go to Bunnings. This is available there. I have to go there. This is available by this method. It is a movement in time and movement in space to achieve your goal, to achieve what you want to achieve. Whereas here what is happening is very funny. There is a movement, but where is that movement? It is within myself. Instead of an outward journey, it's an inward journey. And how is that journey to be understood? I move in time. I am trying to concentrate my mind on that eternal existence, which is effulgence in reality, which is my true original nature, which is deep down within me, and I try to reach there. So it is a movement in time, but not in space. Here the journey is within yourself. So now, dears, try to, though it is not absolutely correct, but it is correct enough to enlighten our understanding. What does it mean? If I want to achieve anything in this world, I have to search it out in this world. I go from places to places with my intelligence, with my capacity. I go from place to place. I move in point of time. It takes my time. And that I move from place to place. So my searching in this world involves movement in time and movement in space. and it is an outward journey. The spiritual journey is within me. I, with all my faculties, I dive deep within myself and try to hold on my mind on my true original nature. This is the main theme of the first shloka, which we have tried to understand from very many points of view and perspectives. Let us move on to the second now. If we move on to the second and understand the second verse, the first verse will be more illuminated. It will be more brightened up to our understanding. What does the second verse say? It starts almost on the same, but it is more instructive, educative and instructive, amalgamated together. Let us now read. Jad archimat yat anubhyo anucha jasmin loka nihita lokinascha tad etad aksharam brahma sa pranaha tat u vangamanaha tad etat satyam tat amritam tat vedhabhyam Somya vidhi. Somya, a man who has collected his outward journey, he has started a journey within, that is, a sober, a poised, a peaceful person who is not disturbed by the attractions of this world, who has contained himself and he is prepared to start the journey within. Hey Somya Viddhi, ye young man who you are prepared to reach that goal, listen to me very carefully and know for certainty. No halfway house. Viddhi means know for certain. What? All that has been said before. Let me say what has been said before. Jat archimat, that whose nature is self-effulgent. That whose nature is self-awareness. I am aware, I am. This effulgence, light, is being used to make you understand the awareness of knowledge, where no ignorance is possible. Wherever there is light, there is no darkness. Wherever there is true knowledge, there is no ignorance. Jat, that which is archimat, whose true original nature is awareness. Let us not say effulgence anymore. Awareness, that is effulgence. I know, I understand, I experience. How? Because that awareness is my true original nature. Archimat. Anubhyo anucha. It is subtlest of the subtle. Thereby, please remember from the worldly point of view, even it is a highly energetic electronic microscope, you could not find it. Anubhyo anucha. Anu means atom. A smallest of the smallest conceivable particle. It is smaller than that. That is, there is no grossness in it. Your true original nature. Now, dear, we have come into a phase of study, a portion of study we always equated. That is my real, true, original nature. Jadarshimат, pure awareness, pure consciousness. That is my true original nature. Yat, that which is subtlest of the subtle, the smallest of the small that is conceivable, materially, worldly. It is subtler than that. Jasmin loka nihita lokinascha. Loka is concept of space. That is this world. Bhur loka, bhuvar loka, swar loka. There are concepts. This world is bhuvana, bhuvar loka. There is another domain, what is known as swarga loka. So another domain known as bhur loka below this. There are 7 such concepts of levels of awareness, levels of understanding. That is, I don't have this gross body when I am dead, but I have 17 elements with me. 5 bhutas, subtle elements, 5 gyanendriya, 5 karmendriya, prana, and mana, and atma, ego. 17. I am. I have no gross body. And I behave in that plane. I interact with those. That's a concept, and that is not a woolly-headed idea. People do arrive there, experience, and they do come back again. So loka means various levels of awareness, where diversity slowly and slowly reduces, and the ultimate loka is where he is, oneness of the whole cosmos. Jasmin loka, and with its inhabitants, they are placed there. What does it mean? There is not a speck of space, not an iota of time where he is not. Or don't say he anymore, where I am not in my true original nature. I am. This is what I am. The words, with the help of Sphota, it's the quality of it, it is the capacity of it, it explodes into a meaning. And these words are exploding into a very well-knit idea. My true original nature is absolute, untainted, unmixed, unpolluted awareness. And it is so extensive that there is no space beyond it. The space is contained in it. And it is subtlest of the subtle. And the whole cosmos that we can conceive of exists on it. If it is not there, nothing is. Tat etat aksharam brahma viddhi. Yat and tat, that which is, it is so. That yat means that which is, tat means it is so. That is known as Aksharam, immutable, infinite, eternal, absolute, all-pervasive awareness, existence, Satta Chetana. I am aware, I exist. Who am I? I am in reality the foundation of this whole diversity that emanates from me. It disappears into me. How do I say so? Because this world is real to me as of now. After a whole day's hard work, when I go into dreamless sleep, what happens? The world does not exist. Nothing exists. There is a nothingness there. And I am, during that dreamless sleep, I am aware there's nothing. Sukhamaham kinchit na avedisham. I experienced nothing. What was the object my experience? Nothingness. And I was in great joy. When you wake up, you say, oh, what a wonderful, restful sleep I had. Nothing was there. If it is real, how come it was not there then? It does not fit in with the definition of reality, Satyam. What is Satyam? Trikala avadhita Satyam. That which is not parcelled, that which is not partitioned by time is real. It existed in the past, beyond the past. It existing now in the present. It will exist in future and beyond future. Time cannot partition it. Space cannot partition it. Infinite, eternal. Know that to be the immutable. Akshara means changeless, immutable. Brahman. Tata Vidhi. My dear child, my dear boy, my dear student, my dear pupil, who have made the necessary preparations, preparatory arrangement has been made. He is poised, Shanta, Danta, Uparata. He has managed his external organs, he has managed his internal organs, and he has a total control on the movement of his mind. Total control on movement of his mind. What does it mean? Why so? If he tells his mind, stick on to this idea, the mind sticks on. Like a well-trained dog. You say, sit, the dog sits. Stand, it stands. Jump, it jumps. Run, it runs. Come back to me. Come back. Sit by my side. A well-trained dog. My mind should be such a well-trained dog. What is happening today? Though I say it is my mind, but I am a slave of my mind's mischiefs. That is what I am today. I am a slave of my mind's mischief today. Soumya means a person who is poised, who is serene, who is sober, who is unperturbable, who cannot be excited or disturbed. He has his mind to his. Because he has to now make use of that mind that willpower and all the faculties with which he is born as a human. And those faculties are, by self-disciplining, polished, sharpened, honed. That process of education is known as Brahmacharyatrama, the period where you are supposed to sharpen and hone and have a total control on your faculties. You are preparing yourself for the ultimate wisdom. When you are told, thou art that, tattam asi, immediately your mind forms into that idea and you experience, I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. That is the definition of Soumya Bhava. He says, Tat etat aksharam Brahma. To sum it up, anything and everything, to the farthest stretch of imagination, in space and in time, the grossest of the gross, the subtlest of the subtle, the infinitest of the infinite. Whatever you can conceive, all that is rest on it. Tat etat aksharam Brahma, tat etat Satyam. Avitatam Satyam. Absolute changeless reality. That is what it is. Where is it to be found? It is my true original nature. I don't have to spend money to get into a rocket and go to the moon to find out that Akshara Brahma. My true original nature is that. Tat etat aksharam Brahma. Sa prana tadu bhangamana. The concept of prana, the concept of vak, there's the capacity and faculty to express yourself by speech, manaha, the movement of your mind, everything. Tat etat satyam, tat amritam, immutable, indestructible. Tat vedhavyam. Hey Soumya, etat vidhi. Know this now. It is the object of that is your target. It's the object of your movement. It's your goal. Vedhavyam. You have to penetrate it. Now, Vedhya means to penetrate. In those days, in the next shloka he will develop, let me do it now, he is taking into concept a bow, an arrow, and a target. What does Vedhya means? The bow has to be used properly. The bowstring has to be pulled as much as it can possible, right up to with your left hand moved further. Put your arrow properly, aim it properly, let it go. What happens? The momentum generated by that bowstring forces the bow and it pierces the target, and the tip of the forces the arrow. The bow is held in hand, dhanuhu, and ishu is the shara, is the arrow. And you leave it, it reaches its destination, it penetrates it, and the tip of the arrow is no more visible, it is concealed or it has merged with a target. Vedhabhyam manasa tadaitavyam. Please don't get upset that I'm using Sanskrit words. Manasa, with the help of your mind. Tadaitavyam means it has to be pursued with all your vigor endlessly till you reach the goal. Vedhabhyam. That is your duty. No compromise. With all the faculty that you have sharpened, that you have honed during that period of Brahmacharyatrama, make yourself a perfect specimen of human being, totally controlling of all your faculties. Sharpen them, hone them, polish them, keep them neat and clean. And then, with a total dedication, that is, without spilling your energy in futile pursuits, total energy, you draw your mind deep into it. That is my goal. I leave my arrow. Arrow loses its identity within the target. You don't see the arrow. You don't see your separate self anymore. You are one with your true original nature. This concept of separateness has totally disappeared. This is the essential meaning of this second shloka. Instructive, educative and instructive. What is he saying? Let me repeat again. Jat archimat, first thing. It is the source of the concept of effulgence. And it is not an imagination. You say, I am aware, I am. That awareness has not been borrowed from anybody. It is self-evident awareness, sa samvedya chaitanya. Self-evident awareness, and I am that. Jadarchimat. Anubhyo anucha. You are the subtlest of the subtle. There's no compartmentation in time, no compartmentation in space. Subtlest of the subtle, chakara has been used, and etc. Chakara is an etc. Anubhyo anucha. Subtlest of the subtle, grossest of the gross. Now, what is this concept, subtlest of the subtle and grossest of the gross? Partitioning of space. The Himalayas takes a lot of space on this world. Himalayas. An anu, an atom. The amount of space that it occupies. That is your concept. It is a movement in space. And similarly in time, past, present, future. Momentary. I say this is present, by the time I finish it has become past. The future has come in to be present. Constant. Jadarchimat jat anubhyo anucha. Jasmin loka nihita lokinascha. I'm sorry. All that you see around you is on this Mother Earth. Mother Earth is a substratum. We are all on this earth. And the earth is in this whole cosmic atmosphere, space. He says, now we say we are on this earth, and like herbs and plant life, they grow from earth, they go into earth. 5 elements have made this body: Khiti, Ap, Tej, Marud, Bom, earth, water, fire, air, ether. It goes back to its normal elements. It comes out from these 5 Pancha Mahabhuta, it goes back to Pancha Mahabhuta. It comes out of it, it goes into it. Tad jalam shanta upashate. Tasmat jayate. It comes out of this. Tasmin liyate. It goes into it. That is what Akshara Brahma is. Shanta Purusha upasate. They pray, they worship that to be one with that. Upasana is to remove the distance between me and him. To reduce the concept of separateness. Tasmin loka nihita lokinascha. What is that? Tat etat aksharam brahma viddhi. Know for certain, Brahman is the base. I call it Atman because I have identified myself with what I am not. Though that is not my true original nature, I have identified myself and I think myself limited. That's an error of judgment, error of understanding, misconception. Get rid of this misconception is what the Upanishad is teaching you. Identify yourself with your true original nature. Where is it to be found? I am Atma Brahma. What I know as I am, this awareness of amness, the awareness of existence, that is in an unlimited manner your true original nature. There's nothing to divide it. It is all comprehensive, it is infinite, it is eternal, it is immutable, it is absolute. My true original nature, I am. These are the instructions. The instruction will be further clarified later on. Let us start slowly. He says, Sa prana tat u bang manaha. The concept of life force emanates from that. Concept of faculty of speaking, faculty of hearing, faculty of thinking, absorption of ideas, all the faculties that the human being is proud of, they are all emanating from that and goes back to that. Tat etat aksharam, tat etat satyam, tat amritam. It is reality, it is truth, and it is immutable absolute. He Somya tat vidhi. Know that as that. Know that in itself, not with qualities. Your true original nature. This is the second chapter. Underline the word Vedhavyam. Vedhyam means it has to be pierced through. Now, piercing means one element entering into the other and we lose sight of it. Bow, arrow, and a soft target. Say, for instance, trunk of a banana tree. I take my bow, I take my arrow, the arrow is well sharpened, not blunt, and I hold the bow, aim it, hold the arrow in place on my hand and pull the string as much as I can. The more we pull, the more force is generated, and I leave it. What happens? That force generates that momentum, and it goes, hits the trunk of the banana tree, and it is soft. Because of the force, it pierces through, it penetrates through, and the steel tip of the arrow is no more visible, it is concealed. Though you will say it is there, the steel has not merged it, but it is beyond your understanding, beyond your view. You know it is not, it doesn't mix up. Well, let us give you another example. The Parramatta River. What is a river? A mass of water flowing through, contained by three areas: the left bank, the right bank, and the bed. Parramatta River is a name of a mass of water flowing. Hawkesbury River, Parramatta River, Shoalhaven River, Nepean River, all around Sydney. What are they in reality? A mass of flowing water. I have named it Parramatta, Hawkesbury, Nepean, Shoalhaven. Names are different. What is it in reality? A mass of water flowing on Mother Earth. Because of the flow of water, it is cut into the soil. It is contained by the left bank, contained by the right bank, and it has a bed. But basically, the river is nothing else but a mass of flowing water. By gravitation, it is flowing. You can't stop it. And ultimately, it reaches the harbour and enters the Tasmanian Sea. Can it be retrieved? Can that quantity of water be brought back? The example given of a bow and an arrow, and the arrow piercing and penetrating through the target loses its identity. You say, I don't see it, but it is there. Let it be there. What about this? This quantum water known as Parramatta River, is it retrievable? It has mixed up with ocean water in such a manner it is no more retrievable. That means it has lost its separateness, separate identity. Jatha nadya sanyamana samudre. You will listen to that in this Upanishad later on. Another method of sadhana. Sanyamana samudre. They flow into the ocean and they are irretrievably lost to you. They have become part and parcel of the ocean. This Jiva Atma, nomenclatured as so and so, so and so, so and so, with all the identities with which he or she is attached, that identity falls off. He merges himself with his or her true original nature. Know for certain this is the procedure. How do you go about it? Manasa tadaitavyam. Tadana means to have total control. and make it behave the way you want to behave. That is tadana. Disciplining the child. The child is becoming obstinate, unreasonable. Mother is forced to rebuke the child, to scold the child, even to make him behave in other ways. That is tadana, the process of disciplining. Manasa tadaitabhyam is vedyavyam. Please get into the subtlety of this understanding. God has given us brains to understand. What does it mean? The mind in its own place can make hell of heaven and heaven of hell. Milton, he was not a Vedanti, but he saw the world. And he tells in this epic Paradise Lost, when because of the disobedience, Adam and Eve were sent to hell, removed from paradise, Adam was much disturbed, frustrated. Satan comes, sends his assistant Beelzebub to cheer him up. And how is he cheering up? Why are you worrying? Mind in its own place can create heaven in hell and hell in heaven. Mind in its own place. We can create hell of this world, we can create a heaven out of this world, the way the mind behaves. And in Amrita Upanishad, the same idea has been said. Manoreva manushanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. What a wonderful statement. It's an Upanishad, but a latter-day Upanishad. Amrita Bindu is the name of the Upanishad. This is Mundaka, that is Amrita Bindu. What does it say? Manushanam manoreva, the mind of a human is the cause of bandhana and moksha. Manor eva manushanam, verily, without any doubt, is the mind of a man which creates the concept of bandhana, bondage, and it is the mind of a man which creates the concept of moksha or mukti. A mind in its own place can make hell of heaven and heaven of hell. That's what Milton says. This is what Upanishadkar says. Collective wisdom of the human society. Upanishad says that. Now I have moved from the word tadaitabhyam. Manasa tadaitabhyam is vedyavyam. Vedya means piercing, penetrating. In reality, losing your identity as a separate entity. Losing your identity as a separate entity. The mind has to be disciplined in such a manner it doesn't spill over its energies, it holds it into it, and in a one-pointed way, it aims at its goal. What is that? I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. And you educate your mind to tadakara karita chitta vritti udeti. Your mind modulates itself. I am. As soon as that modulation takes place, it doesn't complete itself. It merges with the Absolute. And the mind is a chimera, is an imagination with which I have identified. I become one with my true original nature. I experience it but I can't express it. That will what happens to you. So, Vedhyabhyam means manasa tadaitabhyam. Tadaitabhyam is simply tadana. Tadana is to discipline your mind. Now, how do you discipline? See how systematically and how logically, how commonsensically this abstract Shabda Rashi known as Upanishad, very frightful, and that is what Swamiji used to say. I'll be very happy to see that in India, the mothers of the households, while cooking and looking their household activities, they read the Upanishad as easily as they read fictions and novels. That is my dream. I would like to spread the wisdom of Upanishad over so that each and every person understands I am the divine and my behavior pattern should be adjusted according to my divinity. I can't behave like a Danava, a Daita, and say I am Deva. No, I have to behave like that, and first let me experience that, and let my body language, let my behavior pattern be at par with that. So, dears, now he has said, Manasa tadaitabhyam vedabhyam. That is, the goal is that Akshara Brahma, and like a bow and arrow, that is how he has said. He says, I will now explain to you how do you go about it. Let me read the third shloka. Dhanur grihitva Upanishadam mahastram sharam hi upasha nishitam samdadhita ajamya tadbhava gatena chetasha laksham tad eva aksharam shomya vidhi. You ask what is that Vedhyabhyam means? What is this Manasa Tadaitabhyam means? He is telling you, have a little patience with me. I am building it up for you. And I'll present it to you in such a manner, Maharishi Angirasha says, that you will understand, a child will understand. Have a little patience. What is this concept? Now he comes to make it clear to you. Dhanu, grihitva, get hold of a bow. What does a bow consist of? The timber, which is almost like a cane. It stretches, it bends, doesn't break, and at the end of it, there's a string, tightening it up. If you lose the string, it expands. That springing capacity is contained in that string. So a bow is a piece of a flexible timber or a piece of cane shaped in a particular manner so that you can have a handhold area, and it is tied up at two ends by a strong string. Generally, it was a gut of an animal, intestine of an animal in those days. And he says, get hold of that dhanu. Now, what does dhanu signify here? Upanishadam mahastram. Dhanu is a maha-astram. It's a weapon, and a very famous weapon in those days. Today we have atomic bombs. Those days dhanu was enough. He says, What does the dhanu signify? Upanishatsu bhavam Upanishadam. So dhanu is a symbol. What is the symbol? The subtle idea that emanates from the study of the Upanishad. Wait a minute, don't get concerned, don't be apprehensive. What is the idea emanating from Upanishads? You have now studied 34 shlokas, you must be knowing that. The idea is oneness of the universe. The diversity appears to be real, but the diversity is momentary. Isness is eternal. And Upanishad says, you are that eternal, infinite, immutable, absolute. That is the Upanishatsu bhavam. What is the idea coming out from Upanishad? I am that. I am Atma Brahma. And the teacher tells you, Tat Tvam Asi, thou art that. This is Upanishatsu bhavam. Now symbolize it as a dhanu. Upanishatsu bhavam Upanishadam Mahasram Dhanu. Get hold of it. Gretva. Make it your own. Don't depend on being spoon-fed. You assimilate it yourself. Dhanur Gretva Upanishadam Mahasram. Sharam hi upasha nishitam shamdadita. Sharam shamdadita. Take the arrow, put the one end of the arrow on your hand here and pull it back as much as you can. Stretch your left hand as far as it goes and pull that bowstring as much as you can. The bow contracts. And all that springing energy you are generating by your efforts, you're pulling the string. And what is that shara? Shara upasha nishitam. Your mind with upasana, prayers and discipline, it is sharpened, it is honed, it is polished. Nishita means sharpened, honed, polished. If that is blunt, how can it penetrate? If it is sphere-shaped, it will hit it and fall back. So it should be pinpointed, sharpened, and arrow, shara. Shara is the arrow which symbolizes your well-trained mind, sharpened, polished, honed. Put it in its proper place. Archery. And then Ajamya tadbhava gati na chetasha. Let your whole being, your capacity to understand, be totally convinced, unshakable like rock-solid granite. Ajamya tadbhava gatena chetasha. Your awareness. I am doing this. I am doing this in this manner. I am doing this in this way. I am doing this for this purpose. No namby-pamby, no hesitation. Nothing at all. Ajamya tadbhava gatena chetasha. Lakshyam, your target, your goal, where you want to be. Laksham. Tad eva, what is that Laksham? Aksharam Brahma. He Somya Vidhi, you please know and you please apramattena vedhavyam. Without any pramatyata, the next shloka. The next shloka elaborates further, more clearly and more cleanly. This is your words and the symbol. There's a symbolism here, and that symbolism has been removed, and the next shloka, it will be absolutely as clear as daylight. So dear, let us concentrate on the third, because we'll fall short of time. The third shloka is now very symbolic. Upanishadsu bhavam, that all the ideas that emanate from the Upanishad, and the idea is only one, the immutable, infinite, eternal, absolute Brahman. Trikala avadhita satyam aksharam Brahman. That's it. That is my goal of life. Tat laksham. That is my target, my goal of life. What is the bow? The bow symbolizes the wisdom emanating from the Upanishads. You know what it is. What is the arrow? Arrow is your mind. How should the mind be trained to be a fit arrow? It should not be dull, sphere-shaped. It must be sharpened, honed, polished in such a triangular manner. The edges are sharpened and filed so that the penetrative capacity of the arrow is being enhanced by the sharpness of the arrow. It is sharp, it is polished, it is honed. How can be done? Can it be done? Upasha. Be very prayerful. Constantly discipline your mind, because till the mind, you are not here for these vain pursuits of life. Your only purpose is to make me aware of my true original nature by penetrating through, piercing through my object, oneness of the universe. That is it. So, sharam hi upasha nishitam shamdadita. The next what you do, ajamya tadbhava gatena chetasha. Your whole personality is totally saturated, and you pull all your energy and resources and pull that bowstring to the maximum extent that you can, with your left hand going absolutely forward and your right hand going as much back as possible. Wholehearted, undivided effort. And let the arrow fly. You aim it, laksham, you aim it with the target and let it go. What will happen? Let us read quickly the fourth and let us stop it. Pranavo dhanu. Omkar symbolizes dhanu. Sharohi atma. The arrow is your jivatma, you. Pranavo dhanu. Sharohi atma. Brahma tal lakshamuchyate. Brahma is the goal. the target. Apramattena vedabhyam. Without any deviation, without any disturbance, without any hesitancy. Apramattena vedabhyam. It must be pierced. You have no other option. What happens to you? Shara, sharavat tanmayo bhaved. When the arrow enters the trunk of a plantain tree, it has lost its identity with the plant. Brahma is your goal. You enter and you lose your identity. You are one with Brahma. Instructive part of the Upanishad. This is a methodology, a procedure, a practice that was in vogue in that time India. And it is being mentioned here. This is an instruction to manifest the divinity already within ourselves. Dears, thank you ever so much for your undivided attention and paying due respect to this glorious scriptures. You cannot define in words the glory of this text, the Upanishads. You can't define. And the best you can say is Matri Sama. As mother is always forgiving, forbearing, never stops her effort to make the child the best in the world. Similarly, the Upanishad can be compared to a mother. Matri Sama Upanishad. That's the best way you can pay respect to the teachings of the Upanishad. Thank you, dear. If you permit me, in the next session, I will teach the third and the fourth shlok together. And then we move on. Thank you, dear. Thank you ever so much.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri